Have you ever given so much of yourself that you feel completely empty inside? You constantly say yes to others, put their needs ahead of your own, and sacrifice your time, energy, and even your happiness just to make people smile. But here's the harsh truth: being overly kind isn't the solution to your problems, it's the reason you're losing yourself. You've been told that kindness will make you loved, respected, and successful, but all it's doing is leaving you drained, frustrated, and resentful. What happens when your constant giving turns into self-neglect? Stick with me, because today we're going to talk about the hidden cost of being too nice and how to reclaim your life from the cycle of people-pleasing. You might not even realize it, but your overgenerosity could be keeping you stuck in a pattern of unfulfilling relationships, burnout, and deep dissatisfaction. When you're always the one bending over backwards to make others happy, who is there to check on you? Who's there to take care of your needs, your goals, your mental and emotional well-being? If you've ever felt exhausted, emotionally drained, or frustrated from giving too much, you're not alone. The truth is, excessive kindness is a silent trap that keeps you giving until you've got nothing left to offer, even to yourself. The first thing you need to understand is this: kindness, in moderation, is a beautiful thing. It can open doors, build connections, and make the world a better place. But when it becomes a pattern of constant people-pleasing, you end up in a cycle where your kindness is misused or goes unnoticed. And here's the kicker: nobody will ever respect you more for putting them first at the cost of your own happiness. The opposite actually happens. Over time, people start to expect that you'll always be there for them, always put them first, and the truth is, that's not sustainable. Eventually, you'll feel used, overlooked, and ultimately, resentful. But what's even worse is that this kind of unbalanced kindness doesn't solve your life problems, it makes them worse. You've likely been hoping that by giving to others, your life would improve, that your relationships would become stronger, or that you'd be recognized for your sacrifice. But instead, you find yourself stuck in situations where people take advantage of your good nature, leaving you feeling frustrated and unappreciated. You might even think, if I just do more, give more, I'll finally feel valued. But here's the truth: being too nice won't solve your problems, it only creates new ones. You need to break the cycle. This is where the most important shift needs to happen. You have to start prioritizing yourself. This doesn't mean turning into a selfish, unkind person who ignores others' needs. It means setting healthy boundaries and realizing that your happiness and well-being are just as important as anyone else's. When you learn to say no, when you learn to put yourself first, that's when your life starts to change. You become empowered, you regain control, and you open space for the people and experiences that truly bring you fulfillment. Think about it. How many times have you said yes to someone when you really wanted to say no? How many moments have you spent doing things that drain you, simply because you didn't want to disappoint others? That's not kindness, that's self-sacrifice. And over time, self-sacrifice turns into bitterness, burnout, and resentment. It may feel like the right thing to do in the moment, but it's not sustainable, and it's certainly not healthy. So, here's the question you need to ask yourself: what am I really getting out of all this giving? When you start to value your time, your energy, and your emotions as much as you value others, you'll begin to see a significant shift in your life. You'll start attracting people who respect your boundaries, who appreciate your kindness, but also understand when you need space. You'll start feeling more confident in saying no without guilt, and most importantly, you'll begin to live a life that is fulfilling, not exhausting. Here's the challenge: start small. Begin by saying no to one thing this week that you normally would have said yes to. Whether it's staying late at work, attending a social event you don't want to go to, or agreeing to do something for someone when you really need to rest, just say no. It's uncomfortable at first, but it gets easier. And over time, you'll start to realize that setting boundaries doesn't make you a bad person. In fact, it makes you a stronger, healthier, and more balanced one. Now, let's talk about the impact of setting boundaries. Setting boundaries is a form of self-respect. It's a way of telling yourself, I am worth taking care of. I deserve to be happy, and I have the right to prioritize my needs. When you start respecting your own boundaries, you'll notice that people will start to respect them, too. But don't be fooled, this won't happen overnight. You'll face resistance. Some people will be upset that you're no longer at their beck and call. And that's okay. The key is to not let their reaction determine your worth or the value of your boundaries. Let's talk about what this looks like in practice. Picture this: you're invited to a friend's party, but you've had a long, exhausting week. Your first instinct is to say yes because you don't want to disappoint anyone. But now, armed with your newfound awareness, you recognize that your body and mind need rest. So, instead of saying yes out of obligation, you kindly but firmly say no. You might feel a twinge of guilt at first, but here's what's amazing: the more you practice this, the less guilt you'll feel. Over time, you'll start to realize that saying no isn't selfish, it's self-care. It's the key to preserving your energy for the things that really matter. In fact, self-care isn't just about taking bubble baths and meditating, it's about making choices that honor your own well-being. It's about setting boundaries, being honest with yourself, and being okay with not being everything to everyone. It's about understanding that your time is precious, your energy is valuable, and your happiness is worth protecting. Now, imagine that you start to apply these boundaries, that you begin to put yourself first, even if it goes against what you thought being a kind person meant. What happens within you is a quiet but powerful transformation process. The first time you say no, there may be a sense of discomfort. That inner voice that accuses you of being selfish will get louder. But the truth is, saying no isn't selfish, it's self-sufficiency. It's you telling the world, I am responsible for my own happiness, and no one else can live my life for me. Don't be fooled, this discomfort is not a sign that you are doing something wrong. In fact, it's the very first reaction from someone who's lived a lifetime of external expectations. The first time you put your happiness above someone else's, the first time you choose not to fulfill a request you cannot meet, it's going to be difficult. But after that, the change begins to happen from the inside out. Every time you place yourself first, something inside you strengthens. Your self-esteem rises, your confidence grows, and you start to realize that what truly matters is not the expectations others have of you, but your ability to take care of yourself. Over time, the kindness you offer will be much more genuine and true, because it will come from the abundance of your own being, not from the need to please others or seek approval. And that, my friend, is when true freedom begins. You will no longer be trapped in the cycle of giving until you burn out. You will learn to give from a place of abundance, not scarcity. Now, you may be wondering, okay, I understand I need to start saying no, but what else do I need to do to really break this cycle? How can I start truly prioritizing myself without feeling guilty? This is exactly what I want you to think about right now. What would your life look like if you began every day with the thought that your needs are just as important as anyone else's? What would change if you allowed yourself to pause, to reflect, and to not automatically jump into action when someone asks for your help? The world won't fall apart if you take a step back and focus on your own well-being for a change. It won't mean you are abandoning anyone, it will mean you are setting yourself up to give even more in the future, because you'll have the energy and the strength to do so. Start small, just one day, one moment where you say, I am going to listen to myself and prioritize what I need right now. Maybe it's taking a break, taking time off, or simply saying, I can't do this today. You may feel the pressure to apologize for your time, but stop yourself. You have nothing to apologize for. Your time, your mental and emotional well-being are yours to guard fiercely. Setting this new standard for yourself is one of the most important decisions you'll ever make. It won't be easy at first, but soon, you'll see the fruits of your efforts. You'll feel a sense of peace that you've never felt before, because you'll know that you are in control of your own life. You'll feel empowered, and as you begin to create this boundary, you'll notice something remarkable. People around you will start to respect it. It's a cycle of self-respect and self-love that begins the moment you decide that you matter just as much as anyone else. And from that place, you'll find that kindness is no longer something you do to avoid discomfort or gain approval. It becomes something you offer because you genuinely want to. You'll begin to choose relationships, interactions, and situations that uplift you instead of draining you. Your capacity for kindness will increase, but this time, it will be fueled by your strength, not your scarcity. It all starts with the choice to stop overextending yourself. To stop giving what you don't have to give. To stop saying yes when you mean no. It's in the small, consistent steps of honoring your needs and setting boundaries that you'll begin to experience the profound changes you desire. The more you practice, the easier it gets. And you'll realize this is the path to living a life of genuine, fulfilling kindness, one that nourishes both you and those around you. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with being kind, with helping others, or with showing love. But it's important to understand that kindness should be a choice, not a compulsion. When kindness becomes a compulsion, it's no longer an act of love, it's an act of self-neglect. And that's a dangerous place to be. So, here's your challenge for the week. Start saying no. Start prioritizing yourself. And when you do, you'll notice a shift not only in how others treat you, but in how you treat yourself. Ready to take back control of your life? Start today. Your future self will thank you.